Guys, what's going on with Drake and Jay-Z? I'm trying to figure out where things went left, and trust me, things have went left. And I just want to be able to pinpoint it because what used to feel like a relationship between an esteemed veteran, right, like a prestigious veteran and a young up-and-comer who would occasionally take shots at each other, but you could still tell there was some guidance involved and some mutual respect, has now turned into a thing where it kind of feels like a Cold War of some sorts. And yeah, I might make some moves that's detrimental to your career, but there's plausible deniability because it's great for my business. Let's get into it. Now, as some of you know, I'm a big time Hovenger. In fact, I call myself the Treasury Secretary, right? But at the same time, you guys know I'm very fond of Drake's music. He's in my top 10. So I'm going to try to call this as fair as I can. Now, we're going to skip off that record in which Jay-Z recruited Drake and to do like a nice little hook, right, on Blueprint 3. We're going to start here with Light Up. And remember I told you, esteemed, prestigious veteran giving a young guy advice. This is Jay-Z here on Light Up telling Drake, here's how they going to come at you with silly rap views, trying to distract you. So we know this, right? Now, but what's funny about this one, though, I have Drake on Free Smoke saying I didn't listen to Hov on that old song when he told me, pay you no mind, right? This is post Meek Mill beef. This is post beefs with many other people, back and forth with many other people in the industry. And this is all cool because this is Drake asserting himself. Like, hey, listen, man, I'm here to stay. I'm here to go. I'm not really going to be timid. I'm not going to let anybody bully me off my spot. And things were kind of good between them, mostly because I knew that although they were taking shots at each other, I could feel like the relationship was still being cordial. No one crossed any type of line. In fact, I could argue because of Jay-Z's history with even someone like Lil Wayne, right, where they were taking shots at each other too, I kind of normalized this whole thing. And I want to go back to my basketball reference that I made all the time. And I say Jay-Z to me is like Jordan, Wayne is like Kobe, Drake is like LeBron, right? You could see how Jay-Z and Wayne's relationship, even though they took shots at each other, they were still kind of more of a mentor thing. I'll help you out when you get into some tax troubles. But there's a bigger gap between Jay-Z and Drake, as the same way there's a big gap between Michael Jordan and LeBron James, but they're both closer to the Kobe Bryant here. So Jay-Z and Lil Wayne closer in career in terms of time when they played, and you got Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant closer, right? Makes sense? All right, let's keep going. Now, more evidence that I think things are good, because as much as these guys are having all these little kind of sort of back and forths, they're still collaborating. Pound Cake is another one, but I think Pound Cake, Paris Morton music, the reason why I think this is important for me is because it signifies, again, I think they were speaking to each other on the same song, right? I had Benzes before you had braces. Yeah, that could apply to anyone else, but hey, Drake, I've been doing this much longer than you've been out here hustling, right? And then Drake goes, F all that, happy to be here, shit that y'all want me on. Again, Jay-Z, listen, dog, I know people been here, y'all been here, that could apply to anyone else, but I've been carving my own lane, right? Now, between around 2011, 2015, while Pound Cake, Paris Morton music comes out, we get all the other shots. I'm gonna go through them real quick. You got All Good with Drake defending Lil Wayne a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because remember, Wayne and Jay-Z also had the Ham stuff. He says, please pardon my brother. Okay, then you got the On One, right? Right here, after Watch the Throne drops, I'm just feeling like a throne is for the taking. Watch me taken, right? Then you had the pop style stuff, only using Jay-Z and Kanye's one line. Drake explains himself. But what I think really kind of gets a lot of us scared is when, Drake goes on the Billboard interview, okay, when he kind of name drops Hov and, he can't go 4 bars without talking about the art stuff. And the record should reflect that Drake apparently says, man, he didn't want Rolling Stone to put that on record, right? And then Jay-Z comes back on the We Made It remix and he says, sorry, Miss Drizzy, for so much art talk. Silly me rapping about the shit that I really bought, right? Then you got the They Don't Love You No More. Go listen to that. But they're still collaborating, right? Now, where it gets more heated is right around here. Boom. Jay-Z does Tidal, right? Streaming is becoming more prevalent. He does this big deal with Tidal. He's got a conglomerate of artists on his side. You know who was not part of that deal? Probably the biggest cash cow leverage guy at that moment coming up, Drake, right? I mean, anyone else you can name, especially in the rap R&B world, Jay-Z had him like this. And then Drake doesn't do that deal. You guys, I don't know if some of you remember, he went ahead and did an exclusive, a short-term exclusive deal with Apple at the time. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about the 30 for 30 freestyle, which you have to go check out. But you have to check that out in connection to this. On Charged Up, you know what I'm saying? So on 30 for 30, he goes, never thought I'd be talking from this perspective. The higher ups, I think he's alluding to Jay-Z and them. But here, I bought his rollies off of Thank Me Later. Remember, that's when him and Jay-Z first collaborated. While these boys are stank-legging. Trust me, this information is vital. I'm trying to take the I road. I still got love for my idols. Who was on Thank Me Later that was his idol? I got me a deal with Apple, but I still feel entitled. We get more fire. But even now, I still think everything's okay. We get to Summer 16, right? I used to want to, I used to want to be like, turn to Rockefeller, then I turned into Jay, right? I used to want to be on Rockefeller, I turned into Jay. Jay responding that, right? You know what I'm saying? And he's asking me the keys. Till you on your own, you can't be free. Till you on your own, you can't be me, right? In real life, I'm like Hove. In real life, I'm like me. So you see those shots, right? And remember the sneaking record with 21 Savage? I'm enjoying all this. I'm a fan of both of these guys, right? But man, talk about the sub kings. I've always asked you guys who subs better, Jay-Z or Drake, right? And when Jay says, hey, you can't, until you're on your own, you can't be free. But anyway, Drake goes on here, you ain't own it right away. You had to wait on ninjas, right? Which he's talking about Dame Dash, Biggs. You had to team up with those guys, right? You didn't get your masters back until so-and-so. Man, I'm only 29. Have some patience with us. If some of y'all don't know, Jay-Z really didn't drop Reasonable Doubt till about 26 years old, right? Now, their responses from Jay, go listen to Shining, but the one I'll point out here, a lot of you guys know I'm boss, you know what I'm saying? They just rather work for the man than to work with me just so they could pretend they on my level. That's just irking at me, right? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because guess what? They're still collaborating. I remember 2018, Scorpion. Now, Apple has this lyric song, but here it should say taking shots with the GOAT and talking about shots that we sending. So Drake is cognizant of this. He's like, hey, dog, I know. I sat down with Jay-Z, apparently, alluding to some kind of meeting, and I'm taking shots with him, double entendre, and we talking about the shots that we sending to each other, right? Okay, cool. You on that same album, they've got Talk Up, right? So they collaborated. But the last collaboration, 2021, CLB, Certified Love Boy, we get Love All featuring Jay-Z. This is where we get to the meat and potatoes. Something happened here. And this is where you can say, tinfoil hat guy, conspiracy theorists. Some of y'all, you're in hip hop space. You already know where I'm about to go with this. Let's break it. It's not news that Drake has wrote for Beyonce before. I believe he wrote Mine and maybe another record or so. But right around, supposedly, streets say when Beyonce was working on Renaissance, a dance album, right? If you want to call it that, even though it's listed pop here. They said Drake worked on Heated. And then shortly before Renaissance came out, Honestly Nevermind came out. Honestly Nevermind came out June 2022, okay? Renaissance came out July 2022, okay? I'm a man. I know Big Ego, man. I'm thinking there's got to be a feeling, even if that's not what Drake did, even if it was just the genres were moving to dance and house or whatever, may feel like you tried to backdoor my wife. You came in to work with something, right? You worked on something and you went and did your own. You started working on your own and you dropped before her. That's the best I've got for now. But now this is where it turns a little weirder. I'm going to throw this in here because some of y'all like to be the Rock Nation. Not a conspiracy theorist. You don't find that suspicious. I do think Megan being on the Rock Nation umbrella, you come out with this, lie about getting shots, but you're still styling. That doesn't sit well as well. We're just going to sprinkle that into the fire, right? But this record, I've been telling you about this America's Got a Problem remix for the longest. This is what connects all the dots for me, right? This is the feeling of your arch nemesis, kind of. He's not your arch nemesis at the time. You guys got beef. You're subbing each other. We're going to go recruit him on to do a remix of a song from that same album. America's Got a Problem remix. I've covered this already, but this is the facts of the matter. Recruit Kendrick Lamar to bop him. All of this was for Drake. A lot of us missed it. Geeked Up, Choosy Lover that chose balance. Universal, Please Don't Play Possum. That plays into what we're seeing right now when people talking about Def Jam and Universal, right? I said, these decisions do make sense. I got plausible deniability. They're good for my brand. And that same Rock Nation that produced the Super Bowl, we going to go ask that same guy, you know what I'm saying, that's called your PDF file. We're going to get him to come perform. And oh, by the way, he's going to end up saying it, and the whole world is going to end up saying, say, Drake, I heard you like him young. Now, the last final piece, and while I'm presenting this question to you guys, remember, Drake had posted this cryptically. This is when Solange had hit Jay-Z in that elevator. This is the night of. Remember, this is 2024, November. And pow, we're back to the fact that people are saying Def Jam didn't want Pusha and Kendrick to team up. You know what I'm saying? And then guess who comes to the rescue? Roc Nation. Is it a good business deal? Absolutely. But at the same time, with that plausible deniability, does it let me enlist two of your enemies again to go at you? It sure as hell does.